We are finally ready now. The much anticipated matchup between the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Super Bowl 37.
They couldn't catch another shit. Cannons like the loaded, so it's time to flip the script. Cruising through the bay on that Buccaneer battleship, sold up, screaming out, so Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard?
All right, guys, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, KB, Kim Barrett, not to be mistaken for Shaq Barrett, but this is Kim Barrett.
I thought I had my Shaq jersey on, but I don't. I think there's going to be a reason for that. We're going to talk about that a little later.
There is a theme here. There is a theme. Shout out to Adam Weed in the chat. Don DeMarco, how y'all doing? And dude, this game, we have to talk about it. I know everybody else has talked about it. We've heard everybody talk their talk. Now it's our turn to talk about this game. And I'm telling you right now, this game was worth all the beatdowns that the Bucs have taken over the years. This game right here, the way this game ended, the way this game went, you cannot be anything but excited for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Do you hear that silence that you hear? That's all the Saints fans.
Is that Michael Thomas?
Oh, that's Michael Thomas's 0 yards.
No,
zero
he actually got one catch.
Oh, Devin White's hand?
No, that stiff arm from Sean Murphy Bunting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the catch he got, and that's the only catch he needs. Hopefully, and people are still bitter. I'm telling you what, every Saints fan is now a Green Bay Packer fan at this very moment. But you know what I say to them? And you know, I always say this when it comes to the New Orleans Saints.
Later, bitch, get fucked.
And you will hear me with that theme throughout the rest of the show because that's what I think of them.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and then Packers fans in general, all I heard all last week on Twitter was the Packers don't want to face the Bucs. And here we are.
Yeah.
They would rather face the Saints. Well, we're here.
Yeah. So again, the Bucs just have to go out and do what they need to do. This game right here was huge for me. And I'm sure it was huge for other Bucs fans. Oh, and you know, while KB is stepping away, I'll just go ahead and talk to you guys, talk to you, the listeners out there. This game, the way the Saints have come in and done what they've done, they swept the Bucs. And you know what? This game right here mattered more than those other games. Your guy, the guy, Drew Brees, who's had all these regular season wins and, you know, one Super Bowl to show for it. You know, and everybody's been talking all this trash and they've been putting all this stuff out there. And when I look at this team and I look at this Saints team and all the teams that they put up in the times they've gone to the playoffs, and every excuse that I've heard from the New Orleans Saints nation, every time they lose, from the Minnesota Miracle to the Rams interception to whatever else you want to bring up, everything I've heard about from the Saints, what is their excuse right now? Oh, we didn't have all of our players, and so that's why. No. Your guy, the guy that's got you all these wins, first ballot Hall of Famer Drew Brees, this is the game that your team needed to win, and they didn't do it. Bye-bye, Drew. Peace out. You know what I'm saying?
Later, bitch, get fucked.
And that's what I'm saying about him too. So, you know, again, this was a huge game for the Bucs. It was huge. So, what were your takeaways from the game?
To me, it's all about Mr. Devin White. That man, I have slandered him in pass coverage this entire season, and he goes all Derek Brooks on me. And you know what? I deserved it because minus a couple reps here and there, the dude played a fantastic game. And he's making me eat my words on the Josh Allen at 5, spiel that I was on.
So, do I sense a Devin White apology tour coming up anytime soon?
Win or lose this week or the Super Bowl, he's getting it the next 6 months.
There you go, man. He's earned it. Let's look out in the chat. My man, Brandon Leonard is finally getting to check it out. Will the Brewer, longtime listener, Frank G, Nestor Cervantes, Dan from checking us out on Facebook, Edward Gross, Willie Graham, and Adam Davies. Adam Davies, there you are. Adam Davies from Bucs UK, all the way across the pond checking us out. What's going on, guys? I tell you what, this has been an amazing game. And right now, before we go any further, I do want to apologize to Donovan Smith because I've been wanting to launch his ass into the sun for the past 3 years. And now here he is, and he's putting it all together. And I'm glad to be wrong about this. I was worried about Donovan Smith, but his run blocking and just some of the plays that he's made, and going back and watching him, I mean, he is actually engaged, and he's one of those guys I'm not as worried about him as I was.
Me either, man. If anything, you can argue he deserves an extension, not for more money per se, but to lower his cap number a little bit, make it a little bit more sustainable, maybe give him an extra 2 years, tie him up with Brady, do something like that, because you're not really going to find a tackle at the worst place the Bucs are going to, or best place the Bucs are going to be is 29th in the draft. You're not going to find left tackles.
No.
And you're not going to find them for under 15 million for the good ones.
No, they're all at work. So you're definitely not. Nestor Cervantes, I'm right there with you. Shout out to Cam Brate. Cam Brate doing his thing, man. The past 2-3 weeks, Tom Brady found Cam Brate. Who knew?
Yeah,
Bucs fans knew, but you know what I mean? Who knew?
We were targeting every tight end but him for like the past 8 weeks before the playoffs. So I'm just glad that they're utilizing him the way that they should have the entire year.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's kind of where I'm at. And, if I could shout out anybody, and I think I talked about this earlier in the week, somebody was on a podcast. I feel like this man right here, number 31, this man
Antoine.
That was the momentum changer right there. That was the momentum changer right there. When this guy right here, when he punches the ball out and causes that turnover, I mean, that was a momentum changer right there. And I couldn't be happier with his play. I just think his pick, and I keep saying this, if they were to redo the draft, Antoine Winfield Jr. would not be available when it was the Bucs' time to pick. So that was one of the steals of the draft. Kind of like Chris Godwin. When Chris Godwin was still sitting around there and the Bucs were able to scoop him up and get him, just props to Jason Light for, what he's been doing. Just being able to grab players like that. Because, again, Antoine Winfield Jr., I don't know if you set another rookie back there and they make the plays that he's made this year. And, again, I'm not saying he's perfect, but what he's been able to do and the way he's been able to adjust to the game, it's incredible just to watch him.
Not only that, I mean, he is just the perfect center fielder. Like, not to call him Ed Reed, but he's like a little baby Ed Reed out there. And that's exactly what this defense needed. He's not putting up the numbers that, like, let's say a Jeremy Chin did, but we don't need him to do that. He's not going to be the statistical guy. He's going to be the guy who's very key and vital to like Vita Vea, for instance, or we're going to get to him at some point, to allow other people to do their jobs. And that's what we need on this team.
Yeah. I mean, all you have to do, we could go back 4 years and look at that secondary that the Bucs had 4 years ago. And you compare that secondary, and I hear people talking all the time, Sean Murphy Bunting is trash, Jamel Dean is trash, Carlton Davis is trash, blah, 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 blah. But when you compare this is a young core secondary. no veterans back there. And these guys are playing the way they are. You have to put all this into perspective when you're looking at it. And I know that they've made plays and you're like, man, what the hell were you thinking? But ultimately, when you look at their overall play, the fact that the Bucs ended up with 11 wins in the season, I mean, you know, they went out and did what they needed to do. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that fair is an understatement if you want to say anything.
Yeah, so again, man, it's just one of those things, man. I'm good with what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing, man, and I expect big things.
Yeah, man. I saw someone in the chat say, we're gonna roast some cheese, and I don't know how you feel about this. I saw our friends over at Loose Cannons; they're abstaining from cheese for an entire week. How are you handling the Packers right now?
No, we were division rivals. No, I never abstaining from then. I'm not abstaining now.
I'm eating cheese every night. That's what I'm doing.
That's right. And too bad Tampa Bay Mall isn't open where we could go over there and fight again like we did when the big sombrero was around.
I wouldn't know. I was too young.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oldie.
I'm
Hashtag.
I'm aging myself here, but yeah, we were bitter rivals. I'm telling you what, because Green Bay fans would come into Raymond James and infest it, and you had to fumigate it and everything when you're done. But yeah, this is just an old division rival game that's coming up, and I think the Bucs are ready to do that. I think they're peaking, and we didn't see the best from this offense, and that's kind of scary as well.
Yeah, I actually saw a stat recently, and I won't say everyone's afraid of Davante Adams, but Davante Adams is the guy who gets the star of everyone who should be watching or keeping an eye on for the game on Sunday. And Carlton Davis, the entire NFC North, we're talking about, guys like Kenny Galladay, guys like Allen Robinson, guys like Davante Adams. He held all of them in check for pretty much every single game we played against the NFC North. And we saw what he did to Michael Thomas twice.
Yeah.
He even had a decent third game against him too. But this guy is playing at an ungodly level, and he's calling Michael Thomas Slant Boy on Twitter. I think he gets the MVP trophy.
Yeah, just for saying that, he's got my vote. So yeah. Oh, well, let's dive in. Let's dive into this right here real quick. We might as well, since it just came up in the chat. Vita Vea. That was a name I was not expecting to hear that name this season. 2021, starting the new season. Yes, I expected to hear that name, but the fact that he could potentially play at some point. What are your thoughts?
Hey, I said a couple months ago on this very podcast that I heard from someone that Vita Vea could return for a late playoff run. I was laughed at. I was scolded at all over Twitter. And this man is apparently Alex Guerrero, TB12 method. He got involved with Mike Evans. And even though Vita Vea was a bone thing, he's got involved in the Vita Vea thing as well. And Vita Vea is somehow available. And even if he just played 20 snaps, even if he's not in great shape, even if he's, not 100%, if he gave us 20 snaps, let's say Green Bay does 50, that's almost half the snaps. And this guy will help Levante David, will help Devin White on run plays. They will help Shaq. He'll help Shaq Barrett and JPP get to the passer, which we haven't seen in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean, he's been sorely missed. I mean, and this is what's crazy about it. The Bucs won 11 games in the regular season. They ended up, winning out after the bye. And the fact that here you are, and a guy that means so much like Vita Vea does, and you didn't have him, and you realize just how much he was missed. And I would love to see, again, I don't want to risk his health. And of course, the organization, you've got doctors and all this other stuff. They know what's best, but wouldn't it be amazing to see him walk out on the field?
Heck, even if it's not in this game, I don't want to look forward past the Packers, but there's 2.5 weeks until the Super Bowl. So if the Bucs were to win Sunday without him, I think he's virtually a guarantee to play in the Super Bowl, whether it be those 20 snaps that I just mentioned previously. So no matter who it's going to be against Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, Vita Vea will be needed if it comes to that.
I really want it to be Kansas City. Please, Jesus, make it Kansas City.
Well, I don't know what Patrick Mahomes took, but this guy is somehow slinging around, running around like nothing happened to him on Sunday.
He
I don't know
didn't
if you saw that video.
He's not on that TB12 thing, is he?
No, he is not, but he took some sort of magic pill because I don't know how he took that hit, was that woozy, and 3 days later is running around like
I think
nothing.
he got a stinger. I don't think that it was a concussion.
I don't know, man. When you see someone wiggle the way he did, I mean, he was
That's
a
what I'm
noodle.
saying, man. It was. I think it was like he was saying it was nerve problems. I think it was just like a stinger or something like that. I don't think that he actually got a concussion the way his head hit.
Well, he's still in the protocol, so he did get a concussion. We know that.
Oh, okay. So that is a possibility. Andy Finley, what's going on? All the way from Scotland. We got our friends from the UK over here checking us out, and I appreciate the love. Let's see here. NFC Championship. We play like that and we steamroll these other teams. Yeah. Bucks time 12. What's going on? Willie Graham, Rojo is on fire. I love the way Rojo runs.
Yo, his quad was still hurting during the game. He was limping, and he was that explosive, like even way over Fournette. Like Fournette's not that very explosive in general, but Rojo was moving, and can't believe that run got called back. That was not hold. I'm sorry, Tristan Wirfs, that you got penalized for that because you've been nothing but perfect this year, and you didn't deserve that holding call.
Man, those refs, don't even get me started on those fucking refs, man. That was ridiculous. Did you see
Oh, I saw them. I was
Shaq Barrett get one of these here? And in call was right in front of the refs looking right at it. And
no, there's the female ref sitting right there. And there's the Bucks returner's face. I think it was Mickens. His face mask literally get pulled all the way like 180 degrees, facing upwards like an owl, and they didn't call it. And I'm just like, and I mean, I love Evan Winter to death.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. But he was telling people that the refs weren't an issue.
The refs kind of were an issue.
I mean, until the interceptions at the end, it was everything.
You're changing field position, and then you're forcing the other team to change how they play call. Yeah, I think it does make somewhat of a difference. There was no hold. I didn't see a hold there.
No, he did nothing wrong.
I saw the Saints do a whole lot worse. And Tristan Wirfs, and just as a rookie, the number of penalties he's gotten as a rookie, I'm like, wow, this guy, he's playing like a veteran too. I mean, I really believe that the Bucks, if you look back at the draft and how each player has impacted this team, the Bucks really came out pretty good on their, I would say their first 4. Where do we want to go? 4 maybe?
Yeah.
4 draft picks. I mean, just with what they've done, man, and just looking forward to what they can potentially do. And Tyler Johnson.
That catch, baby. I told you Tyler Johnson is going to be he should be a slot receiver for us. Like, no joke. Dude is amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. Man, and again, somebody else, because I've been very critical and I'm giving these people their due right now. Leonard Fournette.
I'll take it. Give it to me.
I'm serious, man. I wasn't thrilled with him coming. I felt like he would mess up the chemistry. I thought Dare should have been here, and I was way off on that one. But just what Leonard Fournette has been able to do, the fact that the Bucs have the luxury of resting Ronald Jones and running with Leonard Fournette, and just how he's played in the playoffs, man, is just
playoff Lenny, man.
Playoff Lenny. Have you seen on Barstool Sports has the playoff Lenny t-shirts?
Yeah, I'm surprised they were able to get the licensing for it.
Oh, that's Barstool, man. They're like rolling over everything now, man. But I like Barstool. I'm probably one of the minority in that, but I do.
I like Portnoy. Sometimes it just be a little too much, but
yeah, he gets out there sometimes.
He's a great story. Like whether you like him or not, like just look up what he's gone through and what he had to do to get that to be a brand. Like is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So this is interesting. P. Cody, what's going on? And again, shout out to Bucks Report for making all this possible, for making this little shindig possible. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the real MVPs over there. And I appreciate you guys. But Bowles finally decided to have the defense play man-to-man press against the Saints. Bowles needs to stay with man-to-man press. That's Bowles' success.
I will fight that for the Packers. Did you see what the Rams were doing to? Excuse me, the Packers were doing to Jalen Ramsey against the Rams?
They're hurting his
All
feelings.
that motion, it's hard to play the Packers man to man. I think if you do zone blitzes, you have a lot better chance of success just catching them in the wrong places.
Yeah. I don't want him to get cute. I don't want him to be conservative. I just want to see, players playing to their strengths.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day, because there was a time when we were looking at this secondary this time last year, and we're like, man, they've got it together. They're doing good. They're playing as a unit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened, the beginning of the year, or I would say probably mid-season. It kind of fell apart a little bit, and they're just now getting back to where they're starting to play like you would expect them to. And I think, the biggest thing is, do your job.
Do your job. Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. Those are the 3 words that they live by. So that tells you they're doing something right if that's your motto.
Yeah, do your job. That's all you've got to do, man. I mean, these players have the strength. They have the skill set. I mean, you look at them and they have all the physical tools. It's just from the neck up. Got to make sure you're executing what you've been, told to do.
For sure. And that's what worries me about man is for the Packers and for this upcoming game is they're going to do a lot of motion. Like Bucs fans were getting on Byron this entire season, myself included, for not doing enough motion. You could argue the Packers do too much motion, and they will run people side to side until they figure out what exactly you're doing before they snap the ball. And we know Aaron Rodgers is going to go quick. He's going to try to get 12 men on the field, men off sides. He's going to do all that kind of stuff. So all those Sean Murphy bunting and Jamel Dean miscommunications, they got to shore that shit up.
Yeah, they got to clean that up.
Yeah.
And, again, the one thing that I will say about Tampa that we've seen this year is they're finding ways to win games. I hear people, fans, I hear you, listeners, I hear you. You want this team to start fast, but, there are just going to be times you just kind of have to deal with what's out there right now. And, just be able to win at the end of the game is where it really matters. I know it's stressful for people watching a team and it's real close and you're not sure what's going to happen. You still have that Bucs PTSD in the back of your head and you're not sure if you're going to see another, oh, here we go again, or if this team is going to find a way to win. But from what we've seen from them after the bye up until now, this team has continuously found a way to win. Aaron Rodgers, I know Aaron Rodgers is not going to have another game like he had against the Bucs. So you can go ahead and erase that out of your memory because that was the regular season. And here we are. This is the postseason. So the Bucs really need to shore, some of these miscommunications and stuff like that. They got to shore it up. But ultimately, they went out and won against a team that has been their nemesis. You can say whatever you want to about Bruce Arians or Byron Leftwich and the games that they've lost to the Saints. This game, by far, it overshadows any of the losses that they've ever had. I mean,
did you see what Trey Hendrickson tweeted yesterday?
No, I wouldn't. I missed
He
that.
said, "Oh yeah, we won the past 5 games. Y'all are going crazy over one." Yeah, dude, it's the one that mattered.
Yeah. There's that's that what is it? Chase Claypool syndrome.
Yeah, like why are you talking smack after a loss? Just take it. If you want to talk shit a new season next year, go for it.
Yeah, bring it up then.
Accept your losses, man.
Yeah, just enjoy watching the game from the couch.
Yeah, go to Cabo. Apparently, that's the big thing to do these days.
Exactly. So, again, I've enjoyed this because I've been getting roasted by the Saints fans and Saints Who Dat Nation for years. But again, this overshadows all of it because they just haven't found a way to advance. They haven't found a way to advance deep into the playoffs since going to the Super Bowl. And, they put all these wins up in the regular season, but when it comes right down to it, and again, that one game, that Minnesota Miracle, I would put this Bucs victory above that right there, so it's just kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just crazy how everything, like I had to buy a mouth guard. I know I tweeted this out. A lot of you probably saw it because I was clenching my teeth the entire week. I would go to bed unable to feel my teeth. I had to buy a mouth guard because that's how nervous because I thought maybe the Bucs had a chance to win. I didn't think they were going to get 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
This team, three quarters of their games has put up 30 points. Even in the modern NFL, do you know how hard that is to do?
That is
30
ridiculous.
a game against these great defenses too. And you know what? Even when the offense isn't up to snuff, as we saw with Green Bay and as we saw with New Orleans, the defense stepped up and scored and put us in position for a couple TDs.
Gave us short fields to work off of. Again, my man, Antoine Winfield.
And that was the game-changing fumble right there.
Yeah.
The Saints had the 7-point lead.
That switched the momentum right there, and you could tell just by the way they play called the game. That trick play with Jameis Winston. Oh man, that I was pissed after that. And
they stole this same exact play from the Bears.
Yeah. So, and again, I know that there are still fans in the Bay Area that like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is the enemy. I'm sorry. He's I've been for him since he was drafted, but Jameis is the enemy. And if he re-signs with the Saints, he's really the enemy.
I don't think he's gonna. Dude, they have $100 million over the cap next year. $100 million. 80 after Breeze retires.
Okay, I want you guys to think about this. You got Mickey Loomis here.
But you're setting yourself up for a rebuild in 2 years then.
Bro, I'm telling you got Mickey Loomis here. And I wish them salary cap hell. I wish them a lot of salary cap hell. But you got Mickey Loomis. I just don't know. Here's a guy he's pulled some moves out of his ass. I don't know how he's done it. And we just kind of have to wait and see what he does in the offseason.
I wouldn't be surprised if next year the Saints are the worst team in the division record-wise.
That would make me so happy to see Pucker Lips on the other side losing every game, and that would just make my day.
Well, I think the Falcons, they got a good, solid new coach, a solid GM, and they still have the top-end talent. They're going to have to do some salary finagling themselves as well. But the Saints, I mean, you're going to see a lot of good players. Yes, I know they might restructure some things, but you're going to see some good players walk out that door.
Wow. Well, it's going to be interesting to watch. And guys, please make sure you're checking us out at Buck What You Heard. We will be running through the off season as we will be looking at free agency. And
can I tease one thing?
Yeah, please.
For the off season, I don't want to talk about the off season, but I want to tease something real quick. So I know all of you saw a Hall of Fame presentation on Twitter recently.
A horrible Hall of Fame presentation, by the way. FYI.
My boy Gene is going to do his own versions of these Hall of Fame presentations. So Be ready, hit that subscribe button, and be ready to watch in the off season because it's coming. We talked about this.
Yep. I'm going to do one for Rondé, and I'm going to do one for Simeon Rice because it's a damn shame that a guy that was ranked number 20, he's ranked number 20 right now in sacks still.
As a cornerback.
Yeah. I know. I'm talking about Simeon.
Oh, Simeon. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking Rondé's numbers.
Sacks. He's just where he's ranked. And, he got to the semifinals in 2018, and that was it. Nobody's even talked about that since then. So, but anyway, we'll get back to this game. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are still excited about Vita Vea. And Nestor was crying in the shower. Oh, I got it. Nestor, I understand. I was pretty upset too when Vita went down. It was a bad situation. So
I play that Undertaker music.
Yeah.
Boing. Da-na-na.
But I think it's if he can play, he's going to be a difference maker. He is going to be a difference maker. Shout out to Nacho and Golston and everything that they've done. But ultimately, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's playing at another level.
Well, yeah, Golston's not going to come off the field. Nacho and McClendon's are going to be the two people who, would come off the field more often. But Vita, those two together aren't even a third of what Vita can bring.
Yeah. I mean, and he's a space eater. I mean, you don't run.
Literally.
You do not run on that.
340 pounds of just wide girth. Like, oh my God. Like, I can't even imagine trying. I would rather get tackled by Devin White than have to block Vita.
Yeah.
And I'm a giant guy.
So somebody asked a question about Phillip Rivers. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Part of me, I'm
I'm
torn. You say yes?
I could see him going in.
Yeah, no, I think he goes in. I don't think he's a first ballot guy. I think a lot of people are going to make him a first ballot guy.
Mhm.
But I think if you compared, let's say, him to a Frank Gore, when you play at a really good, consistent level for a long time, I think you deserve to go in. But do you think at any point during his career, Phillip Rivers was a top 3 quarterback?
No.
That's what I mean. Like, I love Phillip. I think he was great for the game as a personality. I think he was great for the city of San Diego. Like, I thought he brought a lot to the game, and I think he can be a Hall of Famer.
You know,
But
I wish if I had my wish that he would go in as a Colt because I hate the Chargers and I hate what that owner did to the city of San Diego. San Diego did everything they could to try to keep the Chargers. Yeah, oh yeah, we already know. And he sabotaged that shit so that they could end up in LA where nobody wanted them.
do you hate the Raiders just by chance?
The
Or
Raiders,
that same type thing? But to Vegas, obviously.
well, I don't know. San Diego's it was just different because I listen to a lot of news. So I was listening to San Diego Sports Talk Radio. They had the mayor come on. The mayor's almost in tears about trying to make this work and trying to make all this stuff happen. I don't know if it's theatrics, but it got my attention. And again, I don't want anything good to happen for the Chargers. I love their quarterback. I think he's going to be amazing. He's going to have a great career. But I hate the owner. I think he's a scumbag.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say that much about that, but what I will say is I think Brandon Staley for the Chargers is a great hire, and I can't even wait to see what that defense against Mahomes under his tutelage will be like. That'll be
Yes.
fun games to watch.
So it's now Denver, and so it's just Kansas City. So Kansas City and the Chargers. So then you got Denver and
Vegas.
Vegas. They had to fix it, man. You had to fire John Gruden.
Nah, dude, 10 years. They're not going to throw away $180 million of what's left in his
There
contract.
has to be something there. John Gruden is atrocious.
He was a name, man. It's all like that's what all this is. Why is Urban Meyer the head coach of the Jaguars? Because he's a name.
Yeah, and again, that guy, I don't know how is his health going to hold up. You think it's bad in college?
I don't think he was even unhealthy in Ohio State. I thought it was just because of the scandal.
I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also pro women and women in sports, and that man.
Because when you think about it, he did the same thing to the Gators too.
Yes,
because of health reasons, he left the Gators, and
he knew how bad of a human being Aaron Hernandez was. So much so, he roomed him with Tim Tebow just so that he could keep him under control.
Kind of balance that out.
Yeah, you think?
There's no balancing that out. shooter in the stash says he was held in that game.
Dude, I mean, I've given Shaq Barrett a lot of props over JPP this year, but I think in the 2 playoff games, JPP has outplayed him tremendously, and he's been held on probably 15, 20 snaps, like no joke.
He got tackled one time.
Yep,
they didn't call it.
No. Ramczyk, he gets all the love for being quote unquote the best right tackle in the game, Mr. First Team All Pro. JPP ate his lunch, and refs didn't help him out. That's the gist of it.
But we expected that coming in just based on that Chicago Bears game.
Oh, they were worse during the Bears than even against us, in my opinion. But the Bears just weren't up to snuff. The Bears had no chance of winning that game.
Yeah, I think if the Bears had 2 decent receivers, it's a different.
Well, one of them, there was the second decent receiver got thrown out of the game from C.J. Gardner.
Oh, Chauncey,
little bitch boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What would I call him? Chauncey Gardner Minshew or
Junior? Yeah, it was hilarious. I loved it.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, he was a non-fact. Oh, who did he punch? Oh, he punched Leonard Fournette trying to
in the kidneys.
Yeah,
kidney punch. The illegal in boxing, but apparently legal in the NFL.
Yeah, but I guess he was going for the ball allegedly.
Oh, so was Cam Jordan week 1.
Yeah, he was going for the ball. That's a Saints thing, I guess. And
but fuck him.
Yeah, that's right.
Later, bitch. Get fucked.
So, that's just what it is. But anyway, let's see. I told you left tackle had to get his game right. He did, and we headed to the Super Bowl.
Let's get through this weekend, boys.
Yep, and don't ask for any scores because you're not getting them here.
Yeah, I'm still undefeated when I haven't picked a winner or given any sort of score prediction. So I'm zipped up tight.
Yeah, I made a deal with NFL Jesus. No more beer for 2021. If the Bucs win,
No more beer for you.
No more beer until 2022 if the Bucs win the Super Bowl.
Yo, that's hilarious. I love it.
I want this that badly.
How about this? I'll have avocado ice cream at least twice a week if the Bucs win.
You know what? I may do TB12.
How about that? Oh, I have the book, man. It was one of my shout out to my grandpa, soon to be grandpa-in-law, man. He threw that out to me and I love it. It's a great read.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Willie Graham, that's interesting. Bowles needs to not take the head coaching job and stay here. I
don't think he's going to Philly. I can't see it.
Philly feels just like the Jets.
But worse. Okay, you take the New York media and you have the Philly fans. They make New York look like Joe Schmoes. Yeah.
They're horrible. But it's not so much that, it's the ownership.
Yeah,
I feel like he's in a good situation here. He could potentially be the head coach if
I think he has to be the guy in waiting. Yeah. No offense to Byron, but he's young.
There's a lot of offense to Byron because I couldn't see him coaching his team. Whereas, to be very honest, I could see a Todd Bowles. So
yeah, no, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, man. I want to see him here. I know a lot of people have been like flipping out about some of the play calling and all this other stuff. But, they've found ways to right the ship. And
keep going.
And the games they lost outside, let's take out the Saints game. Let's throw that away. That was a clusterfuck from the beginning. But all the other games that the Bucs lost, the other 4 games, these are games, these are winnable games, and these were self-inflicted injuries that they put on themselves to put themselves out of winning these games. The Rams game, the Bucs should have won. They beat themselves. The Bears game, the first Saints game, the Bucs should have they should have won. And what's that other one? Who did they lose? Yeah, the Bears. So the Bears, the Saints, the Rams, and the Chiefs. Even the Chiefs game, that was a game that it was a winnable game. It wasn't like the Chiefs were going to go out and dominate them. I mean, they had a bad first quarter, but they turned around and righted the ship. So. Again, this is a team that I believe can hang with anybody in the NFL. It's just a matter of them going out and putting it all together and doing it.
For sure. I think the Bucs, it's a race to 31. I mean, I think we know that they can put up 30 a game no matter what the circumstances. And I know people are going to bring up the possible snow and the cold, but we've seen Aaron Rodgers can sling it. Brady slinged it in the cold. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be a barn burner, but I think one team will hit 30.
Hey, the Bucs won in prime time, so stop with the cold weather stuff.
And they gave us the 3:00 kickoff. How clutch was that? We don't have no 6-8 o'clock game. Brady can go to bed on time.
Exactly, TB12, baby. That's what it's all about. Shout out to everybody, my friends over in Canada. Shout out to you guys. Hope all is well over there. Winnipeg. Wow. Scott Waddell, where are you from, man? Got to hear from you. Let me hear from you. Will the Brewer. That's my guy, Will the Brewer. What kind of beer are you drinking this playoff season, Will the Brewer? Let me know, man. And just like he said, fuck the Saints. I'm right there with you. So that's what it's all about. Offensive line. That offensive line.
Aaron Stinney. I just want to take 1 minute of your time.
Yes, please, by all means.
Aaron Stinney moved David Onyemata all game. A lot of you might not know David Onyemata. He was a Canadian guy. Shout out to you, Canada. He was a Canadian football player who didn't really get any looks. The Saints took a chance on him, and this man has been dominating people Trey Hendrickson style for the past couple of years. Right. He just doesn't have the name. Aaron Stinney was matched up against him all game and moved him, didn't allow pressures.
Here? Put you
He
back.
held the point of attack. There were holes on that right side between him and Wirfs. I mean, Alex Kappa was having a pretty darn good season, but
Yeah,
in
he
the
was.
2-game sample size I've seen of Stinney, I mean, this guy's. I mean, he only played like 24 snaps in a game earlier this season, but between that game and what he showed on Sunday, man, he blew Alex Kappa out of the water. And Alex
Yeah.
Kappa was a damn good guard.
Yep. And
Not
I
elite, he's good.
welcome. I can't wait to have him back too, man. I mean, just the way this offensive line is gelling, you can't help but go back in the past and think, man, look at what this offensive line looked like. I mean, you had guys like O'Neal Cousins out there trying to play, and Jesus, O'Neal Cousins. I just gave myself a migraine. Just
No, remember Goster's Cheerless?
oh my God. Oh yes, him too.
He fit,
But-
I pray for DeMar Dotson ever again.
But you see what Jason Light has done. I mean, his body of work speaks for itself. I had my doubts. And I'm gonna tell you this story. I think you'll appreciate this. Back in the day, like when I was first starting, and we got into like 2014, 2015, there were people that were like, why aren't you saying anything negative about Jason Light? I'm like, well, I haven't seen his body of work. I don't know what you can't like call somebody out if you haven't seen everything that they're going to do. Now, I did the same thing with Mark Dominic. I didn't call Mark Dominic out until after I saw his body of work, and you can line up everything that Dummy did and you can compare the good with the bad. Then you have an idea of what kind of general manager you have or you didn't have. Him and Bruce Allen, I'm not even going to go there.
It's hard when you draft 2 Hall of Famers in one draft the way that he did.
Yeah.
Like, that's just hard.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Light's had slam dunk picks the past 2 years, but I mean, there's no saying who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, when you look in Buccaneers lore, I mean, it's Rich
Those are the two.
It's Rich McKay. Rich McKay is the GOAT. I mean, Allen did nothing. I mean, what did
Oh, I mixed them up. Yes, McKay was the one who drafted Brooks and Sapp.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't get that twisted. That moron Allen and him, and then you got another idiot. You've got all this futility wrapped up in these 2 general managers, and then people are so like mesmerized by this that when you get somebody in and he drafts in a vacuum. I know we'll never hear the end about Roberto Aguayo, but ultimately, when you look at where he started with Doug Martin and how Doug Martin did, Doug Martin was the number 2 running back in the league at some point. So, he knows talent, but at the end of the day, what he's put together now, you finally see a return on the investment from Jason Light back in 2014 up till now. And, I'm glad he's here. I am happy he's here. I'm happy I never slandered him and bought into peer pressure like this other guy. Oh, and to end the story, the guy stopped listening to the show. He was so mad. He was so mad at me because I just was like, oh, okay, well, let's see what Jason Light's going to do this year. Let's see what he does with his team. And if you are a true scout or if you're a true connoisseur of football, you can't base what you think about somebody after what season or 2? What is it, 3 seasons before you kind of know what you have with a player?
Yeah, man, it's like college. Like, you can't hire Jim Harbaugh in Michigan and expect year 1 to win. No, it's year 3, year 4 when he gets his recruiting class is now seniors. It's like when these first round draft picks, they're usually not seasoned until year 3.
Yeah.
They need 2 full off seasons. They need to get stronger. They need to, lean out. They need to figure out what the weight room is. They need to figure out how to eat. Like, all of those small things are what make the player more disciplined on the field as well if they're disciplined off the field.
And I think the Bucs have been spoiled with players like Mike Evans coming in, players like Chris Godwin that have been able to come in.
Great guys, just great guys too.
And come in and just contribute. Yeah. And even as much as the hype man, Quan Alexander, when he came out, he did the same thing. He just came out there. You had a veteran who was supposed to be your starter, and Quan came out and took his job. So, I mean, he was doing what he was doing. Bringing Adam Humphries in. And Adam Humphries was able to come in. So what I see from Jason Light is I know he's made mistakes, but I look at some of the positives. Bruce Arians, getting Bruce Arians here. Bruce Arians, which brings in Todd Bowles, which brings in Tom Brady. I mean, it's just that effect that you've seen, and it all started with Jason Light.
For sure. And then to go back to Todd Bowles and whether or not he's going to go to Philly or whatever, at the end of the day, I don't think Todd Bowles will. When you look from an organizational standpoint, the Bucs have hired the most African American head coaches in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the most African American quarterbacks in the NFL. They have had the most women on their coaching staffs. They have a woman owner who's part of the family, the Glazer family, who has a very nice say, and they're very inclusive. I think the Glazers really want to be hands off with the Bucs.
Yeah, 100%.
And Jason Light has proven that even when he was with Cutter, that he wants to draft guys that work well with the coach.
Right, which is what a GM is supposed to do.
Which is what a head coach wants. So if you're Bowles, why would you want to go with GM Howie Roseman, who obviously went into odds with Peterson, who went to odds with the owner, and they all were having disagreements? Why would you want to go to that when you could come in after Bruce Arians, probably even after Tom Brady? You get to get your guy, you get to groom your guy, you get to keep your staff together, you get to work with an ownership who appreciates you as an African American head coach. I don't know why you would want to leave that, personally.
Yeah, you really don't want to leave that. I mean, you have that consistency that you're building. But yeah, I understand some coaches want to coach again, but you want to make it a good situation, because
exactly
the Jets situation was not good from the beginning. And if you look at what led to the last coach leaving, and you just do your homework, I mean, it shouldn't be hard to know what you're running into or getting ready to go into.
Yeah, like you see with the Jaguars, you see the owner's son getting in Twitter fights with Yannick Ngakoue and Leonard Fournette and like all these people. Like, those are the type of organizations you don't want to be a part of as someone who, is number 3 on the totem pole, because it goes owner, GM, you. So you generally don't have that seat at the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Buccaneer Bruce, what's going on? The difference between San Diego and Oakland is night and day, especially stadium wise. Yeah, I guess they do have their vacuum cleaner stadium over in Vegas. So. Yeah.
Did they tear it down?
What, the vacuum cleaner stadium? No, the black. No, they still have it. It's still there.
Oh, I don't. I just didn't know what they would do with it.
Oh, you're talking about San Diego. I'm talking about Vegas and their vacuum.
I'm talking about Oakland. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't care. Yeah. I went to Oakland one time. Almost didn't get out of there alive because a black hole. A black hole's legit, man. It's not safe.
I don't like that take. I don't like the Chargers have the best uniforms in the league.
No.
I think bury me in the Bucs' current uniforms of red on pewter. Literally, just bury me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. How do you get so? I mean, you get wound up. I mean, seriously, you like super wound up during the game, and it's just hilarious to watch. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, I do. And I also tell you, I tweet shit on purpose. I tweet shit on purpose. I swear to God. Ask Evan, ask everyone, man. Like, people are like, why are you tweeting this? Because I'm like, I got a reason.
Yeah,
I'm superstitious, man.
I don't want to know. Yeah.
I call out Devin White. I call out anyone I possibly can, because that means they're going to do something next.
Well, you know what? You know what, buddy? Those tweets don't age well, so I keep all those thoughts to myself. Hey, this is an authentic Pontiac Williams jersey. True story. And Pontiac
Oh yeah. The reason why I'm wearing it tonight, though, is because I think we're gonna do a quick, look forward at the Packers. As someone who's very, very into, the passing game, being able to pass first, then go against the run, and then use the pass to set up a good running game. I think this week it's got to be a Tom Brady game plan. I think the Packers, they're going to run a defense similar to what the Rams do. I think you got to pick them apart, and then I think you got to run and you got to play action off of it. So I think Rojo and Fournette, especially if we're going to throw the weather into this, I don't think it's going to affect that much. But when you're cold and you got those big bruising bodies coming at you, if you can establish the run, you can run effectively. I think there's a very good chance of the Bucs winning this game.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Harry Rowland, this is very interesting. We could do better than Bowles. I am really curious to see who would you put in if
Grass ain't always greener, man. Have you seen NFL defenses?
Yeah, I have, but I'm just really curious. When I look at Ndamukong Suh and where he was playing with the Rams, and he's played on another level since he's been with Tampa, and I attribute a lot of that to Todd Bowles and what Todd Bowles has been able to do with him. That's just kind of my assessment, but I'm going to look down in the chat and see if I can find an answer to that, because I'm really curious to see who you would actually put in there.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of maybe 3 or 4 names that are better, but some of them are head coaches. Like, that's tough. That is, I think he's a top 5 defensive guy, personally.
Yeah,
whether he plays zone or not. Also, they're all great teachers. That's what I'll say to the staff. You can.
I'm glad you said that. That is perfect, because that's what Bruce Arians is known for, being a teacher.
Think of all of these guys that have developed. When was the last time we could say 3 guys in a draft class developed into solid players? Not even just because they were just so uber talented. We didn't draft Ezekiel Elliott because he was already talented at Ohio State.
Right.
Like, these guys, a lot of them have, like, Tyler Johnson played at the University of Minnesota. Who? Antoine Winfield. Yes, his dad is amazing. He's great. He learned a lot mentally. But Tyler Johnson ain't the most physically gifted guy in the world. He is not the fastest guy in the world, and he is not the tallest guy in the world. Like, they have to teach this guy stuff. They have to teach him that kind of body control.
And I tell you what, his route running.
That back shoulder fade, perfect.
Yeah. And that's what you want to see. There are some players that.
Oh, his blocking too. Sorry, his blocking. He's baby Godwin.
Yeah, he's not scared to get in there and block.
No.
So I'm just kind of looking.
Pontiac Williams. He doesn't like saying Cadillac.
Yeah, I should call him Caddy, because he was the caddy till he got injured. But
yeah,
I just like that Pontiac, because
dude, he was so good too.
Yeah, and well, that was that was a Panthers game. He got injured. That was a dirty ass play.
Yeah, can we talk about how John Gruden drafted Cadillac as the second best running back in the Auburn class? That year, he was not even the starter for Auburn. But I mean, he didn't pick Rodgers, but I mean, he picked at least a good guy.
Let's see here. I'm just looking through here. I took all my Bucs stuff off when I went to the Raiders game. Hey, you take your wallet. Take your watch off. Any jewelry. You better just put a safe in the trunk and leave it all in there. You're going in a black hole, because you're not. You won't be right coming out of that place.
Just take a 20 for food, and if you don't walk out with the 20 with no food, it's okay.
Dude, they fight each other.
I believe it.
It is crazy. I mean, they're and from what I understand, there's always a fight after the game, and they could be rooting for the same team, and they just end up getting into a fist fight. The Cowboys are kind of their fan base is kind of that way, but they don't really show it a whole lot. But yeah.
Well, I mean, when was the last time they made a playoff run?
Yeah,
shit. All Cowboys fans are fans because they were born in the 90s.
Yeah. Or something.
Or something related to the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Might just be my perception, but Bowles seems to overcomplicate things. His players are all smash mouth physical guys, and he has them in soft zones with D-line dropping into coverage.
I think he does that because he's also trying to teach these guys too. I mean, think about it. He ran it. I mean, in the postseason, yes, against the Washington football team, he played a lot of zone. Yeah. But I think he understood what this team was halfway through the year and was like, we got to get good at other shit.
Yeah. And that could very well be too,
because he came out against the Saints and he played man.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah. And that was because I really feel like they all know they got out coached in that second Saints game. They know they got out coached. They got outplayed. They got out hustled. They just got out everything. But again, they put it all together in this game. So, speaking of, this is the game. This is for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. This is a chance to see the Bucs host a Super Bowl.
First team ever. Pressure's on.
But I'm gonna digress off of that because I don't want to jinx anything.
You're going to make me go get my mouth guard, man. That kind of nerves.
So I noticed for you have on your Pontiac Williams jersey. And what is the theme? What is the emphasis for this jersey? And does this have anything to do with the keys of victory against the Green Bay Packers?
Heavy dose of Leonard Fournette and Rojo. I mean, as long as we're creative with the runs, I don't see if they touch the ball 30 times during this game combined, that means we're doing something right either defensively or in the passing game.
Yeah.
So I think whether it be pass and run, 10, 15 a piece, 20, 25 touches, that tells me we're doing something. And I think, like I said, it's a race to 30. And if we are able to, run the clock, keep Rodgers on the sideline, defense forcing them, off the field at third down, I don't see why we can't win this game.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey guys, I had to pay some bills. I am going to run a commercial real quick, and that will give me a chance to go get me another water. This is water, not beer. This is water.
No, that's like piss. Let's be real. Hey, LaCroix, sorry.
Oh, really? What do you got against LaCroix? I mean, what's the deal here, man?
Because it's not even doesn't taste like the flavors that they say they are. Personally, I mean, if you like it, you like it. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Do whatever does you.
It's okay for you to be wrong, so it's okay. All right, guys, I'll be back. Give me like 2 minutes, and we'll continue to talk about this Bucs team and what we can expect against the Green Bay Packers. Be right back. Well, there you go. Shout out to Deck Bar and Grill. Nice place to hang out, and you can see the fellas at Pewter Report as they do it live.
Bucs Report. Just want to make sure you.
Did I
Bucs
just?
Report.
Oh my God!
I just wanted to make sure we get our title sponsors.
I'm sorry.
It's easy though. It's easy to do. Come on.
No, but it shouldn't come from me. This should never.
It happens. It happens.
It happens. Hopefully, Keith isn't watching. I just said that, so I'll never hear the end of it. But Bucs Report. That's the spot, man. And, you see Peter Blake there, Joshua Cole Allen, Ray Kennedy, and those guys. A lot of those guys will be out there, and they do what they do. So I am really looking forward to this game. This just kind of takes you back to the old days when the Bucs and the Green Bay Packers were rivals. There's a lot more to this game. I know a lot of people are like, well, I hate Green Bay because we have to play them. No, I hated Green Bay because Green Bay was just their fans were pretentious and they were awful. And they, Bucs fans didn't go to games, and Green Bay fans would come in. It's wintertime and you're coming to Tampa and you could fill up the stadium, and that's what they did. And it was just, I don't know. You kind of take that kind of stuff personal. And I know that we've been a long ways removed of being rivals, but it's still one of those teams that I hate, and I'm glad I hate them because I just hate them. But that's just what it is.
Yeah, man. And Sue is basically sap in terms of, the whole relationship for the
Oh, yeah.
quarterback and the D tackles. So
Yeah, and you know, we go back to that, and it's like, dude, really? And you know, I think that there's that whole animosity going back to when Detroit and Sue played in Detroit, and they had that whole back and forth thing, and they really don't like each other
at all, man. I mean, it's hard not to, or hard for them to like us. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like Sue stepped on a guy's like foot or hand, excuse me, whatever. Like, I mean, Sue kind of earned that one, but
yeah, but that was back then. This is now. He was.
I mean, he's a from what I hear, he's a great human being. He's just a savage on the field.
The guy's a financial genius.
Yeah, he is. That's why they're like, he might not even just want to play because with all the money he's invested.
Warren fucking Buffett.
Yeah.
I wish I could hang out with Warren Buffett. He could give me some stock advice. My stocks aren't doing too good right now.
So are a lot of people's, man.
Man, Apple's like, I expected Apple to be, you know, at least $200-300 a share. Apple's like, they ain't going anywhere. And then Pfizer. Anyway, enough about stock. We get off this right now. I could go on and complain about my stock situation, but I won't. So we need the
wait, what do you mean? We need the coach to what? I need more than that.
Okay, maybe I missed something here. If this guy's drafting like this, he's gonna get respect from everybody. You know what? I think slowly but surely, when you brought in Tom Brady, that had to erase
everything you've done.
That had to erase Roberto Aguayo
Immediately. If you told me if he drafted Von Bell in the second round over a kicker, but we got Tom Brady 4 years later, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you bring in Swaggy Baker and then you upgrade and get Shaq Barrett and, you know, and Ndamukong Suh. I'm good with that too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of, you know, a lot of people have their opinions on religion and everything, but I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, I agree. That's why I've given up beer for the whole year. Buck.
Will you be fun to hang out with without beer?
Heck yeah, I will be, because I still have one.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with
you. I said beer.
That doesn't mean you can't have alcohol.
Yeah, that does not mean I can't partake of the grape. So
if we win the Super Bowl, I'll drink an old fashioned on every podcast we have the next year, and I don't drink, so that'd be big stuff.
Don't do that to yourself. Your wife will hate me. She'll think that I corrupted you.
Nah, that's like once a week. I'm okay.
That's what the wives always think, that I corrupt people.
Let's be honest, though. I probably wouldn't do it. I'd say I was gonna do it, but I probably wouldn't do it.
So what am I missing here? I think I'm going
overcomplicate things. These players are all smash mouth.
You know what? Lane Johnston, what's going on? Oh, you know what? Buck Skull Gang. This guy right here. I'm going to post this because I don't know if I've told you his story. This guy predicted that Tom Brady would come to Tampa.
I remember this. I remember being on the podcast this occurred.
And you remember I rolled my eyes and chuckled at him. And then he predicted that Gronk would come to Tampa. And I laughed at him again. And then when Vita Vea, what was it? It's been, I don't know, maybe
about 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. He said that Vita Vea would be back by the end of the season, before the Bucs end of the Bucs season. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a pass on that and say, yeah, wow, this guy's he's on fire here. Lane Johnston, what's going on? Who dat, we dat, go Bucks. Do you have one of those t-shirts? If you don't, you need one.
I want one of those like Breeze retirement shirts, but like the fuck Saints.
And you know what? I'm going to be I would wear it to New Orleans. That would be, there's a Bucks divisional game shirt that Fanatics has, and I've been really, really thinking about getting one just so I could wear it to New Orleans next year when I go to a game, just so I could wear it, just out of spite.
Bourbon Street, baby, we'll take it over.
That's right, because they deserve it. They just deserve it, and that's just what it is.
All those.
So for me, when I look at the Green Bay Packers, nobody has been able to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And that's the one thing that I've noticed that's really stuck out to me. In the games that they've lost, people have been able to get pressure on him, put him on his back, make him uncomfortable. And I know that really applies to the majority of almost every exactly.
We're one of the only teams that did it.
Yeah. And they had him so rattled that he was just like, oh man, he and I don't want to say he cashed it in, but he was kind of protecting himself towards the end of the game.
Brady's done it too. Let's not act like he's the only person who's ever done that.
Yeah, 100%. I just feel like with this team and the way this team is playing, I like their chances against the Green Bay Packers. The teams that the Bucs have faced this year are all beatable. It's not like in previous years where you've got a team and you're like, oh man, that team may give us a problem, and that's always the way that's been. But this is a different team. This is just a kind of a different time.
Yeah, I'm going to quote Scott Reynolds real quick over at the Pewter Report. The other Pewter Report.
Mistaken for Bucs Report.
Not mistaken for Bucs Report. But in one of his 2-point conversion columns, right before the Saints game, he said, "I'm not going to pick the Bucs to beat the Saints, or excuse me, I won't pick the Bucs to beat the Packers unless they can beat the Saints." And that's kind of where I am at this point. You can't beat the Saints and then drop this game.
Yeah,
like everything happens for a reason. You can't that dropping that bug. It's like dropping the Eagles. And
now let me ask you this, and I know that you weren't around at this time, or you weren't football at this time, but I'm going to ask you.
I was an 8-year-old little cutie.
So you've seen the Bucs Eagles game, the one where they shut down the dump and
Rondé.
Would you compare? And I'm going to get to Rondé in just a minute, but how would you compare this Bucs versus Saints game based on the history the Bucs have with the Saints? And the lack and just all the futility that you've seen from this team, how would you compare that to the Bucs finally getting the Philadelphia Eagles monkey off their back and going to a Super Bowl?
Bucs Eagles, Bucs Saints.
Wow.
I mean, because the Saints, it's been a decade of this.
Yeah,
it's the Drew Brees era where we just haven't been good.
Right.
And they just trash us twice a year. And the Eagles, they kept us from getting to the Super Bowl, yes, but we were a great team. But I think what elevates it is that it took us to the Super Bowl.
Well, if you and I want to shout out everybody that was the Super Bowl bust, all you guys out there. Shout out to you guys for having faith and hanging in there and believing, just believing. For me, I had to put these two up I had to put him closer than that. Only because Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer, regardless of what you think of the guy, putting up Madden-like numbers every year.
Madden couldn't put up his numbers, man.
Yeah. Putting up Madden-like numbers here. And here he is. Here we are, and the Bucs end up beating him and put themselves in a position to where they could go to, the Super Bowl. So when I look at this and I'm like, man, where does this game fit into when you look at Bucs history and some of the games that have really stuck out? This has to be up there.
Oh, it's a top 5 game. I mean, I can't speak to anything circa 1999, but I'm sure there's a couple in there. I know there's the NFC Championship game, and
I'll have to put this game, the Bucs 49ers, when Warren Sapp took out, I think he took out Jerry Rice and
not Garcia. Was it Garcia?
No, it was
Young.
Steve Young. Steve Young and Garcia. Not Garcia, Jesus. Steve Young, and I'm stone cold sober drinking water. Steve Young and Jerry Rice. But ultimately, that was one of the big games for me. That was like a real turning point where the Bucs were showing what they could do. And then you have this game. That Philadelphia game, I just was excited, but I really had that same feeling here because you're anxious, you're nervous. You know that this team has had your numbers all these years. You had to listen to bitch-ass Cam Jordan for years talk about this team. You had to listen to Slant Boy talk about this team, and it's just gone on and on and on and on, and you just you're like, man, this is crazy. So this game to me is huge. I don't know. I don't feel the same way about this Packers game, and I'm trying to get emotionally up there to the Packers game. But because you just had the Saints, who's your nemesis, has been really sticking it to you, and you finally get to send their asses back home, and they're done with the playoffs. I just don't know, man. I've got to put them closer because of everything that kind of came with it and all the over decade of futility that the Bucs have had.
No, and I completely see where you're coming from, but I'm not saying the NFC Championship game is a trap game. But do you think this has a trap game like quality because the Bucs just overcame the Saints, Super Bowl's at home, and the Packers are smack dab in the middle of that?
No, I believe that again, we go back to Bruce Arians and the coaches that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have. I think they're preparing this team to go in and actually face that team and see how they do, and face them and not overlook them to see about who's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I would love it to be Bucs Chiefs. I mean, if I had to say that, to be honest, if the Bucs don't win and Green Bay gets in there, I'm rooting for whoever the AFC is. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the Bills in the Super Bowl. How cool would that be for Bills Mafia?
Yeah,
I mean, they've had it just as bad as what we've had.
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
4 years in a row of not winning the Super Bowl after getting there.
They were
shit.
In the 90s.
Well, and then they were shit for a long time. And then, they trade up for Josh Allen with us. How cool of a storyline would that be? And then, Josh Allen struggles a little bit, becomes Jameis-like in the playoffs last year. Then all of a sudden, I mean, Aaron Rodgers probably MVP, but if you said Josh Allen was number 2 in the MVP voting, would anyone bat an eye?
Wait a minute. So you would give the MVP to Aaron Rodgers over Josh Allen?
Right now, if we're talking strictly the regular season, I mean, it's a toss. I mean, I'm saying it's more of a conversation with Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers than what anyone could have predicted preseason.
Right.
Like, this guy's the number 2. If Aaron Rodgers is number 1 for MVP voting this year, Allen's number 2 is all I'm saying.
But, and to play devil's advocate here, you've got Tom Brady, who takes a team who hasn't been to the Super Bowl since 2007 and positions them in a place where they could potentially go to the Super Bowl.
See, and I think the Bucs Bills, if that were to be, I'm not trying to look ahead, guys. I'm trying to talk about storylines here.
We're talking storylines, strictly.
It's the complete opposite. The Bills bring in Stephon Diggs to help transition their quarterback to actually unleash his talent. The Bucs bring in Tom Brady to show off the talent that they already had. Right. It's two completely opposite storylines, both solid defenses with great storylines on the. I would just personally love to see that.
Yeah,
but the Chiefs are probably going to get there. But I'm saying it'd be cool to play the Bills. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and to all the folks out there that still aren't 100% sold on Tom Brady, I'm sorry for you. And Jameis Winston would have never got you this far. And
that's no fault to him.
No,
he was dealt a bad hand.
No, I won't even go that far. I'm just going to say Jameis Winston is who he is.
Yeah, exactly. But Jameis Winston on the Chicago Bears, he could make them be a 1 or 2 win playoff team.
Yeah.
He can do that.
He could alleviate.
He's just not the guy who can give you 4 straight
defense.
Yeah, if you have a bad defense, Jameis Winston's your fucking guy.
Yeah.
If you have a great defense, Jameis Winston's your guy. If your team's just middling, kind of like the Bucs were, 7-9, 8-8, Jameis Winston's not your guy because you have to get there first.
Right. So I don't know. I just it's just whatever.
Who do you think Jameis will? If Jameis were not to re-sign with the Saints, which I don't think is humanly possible, cap wise, where do you think you could see him?
I could see him in Chicago. I could see him.
I think they're just too stubborn. I could not go one more year.
I could see him in Houston. if Deshaun Watson was gone.
If they go to the pick route and don't want to swap quarterbacks for, like, let's say a Tua, I think that's a great option.
I could see that. What about the 49ers? I could see him with the 49ers.
The only thing is, I think Shanahan, he's got like him and Lynch got something up their sleeve.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to go get, I'm not going to say Phillip Rivers because obviously he retired, but they're going to go get someone that you don't know that is going to be available.
What about like a Cam Newton? I know he's still got game. I mean, despite what
I think Cam Newton, if you used him kind of how the Bucs or the Saints used Taysom Hill from a quarterback, wildcat standpoint, I think he'd be a great number 2 for someone. Like, use them for packages.
Yeah, I could see that too. Definitely see that. Oh, Indianapolis. There you go. Indianapolis.
And they're forward thinking, man. That's a well-run organization.
Yeah.
Did you see what their GM said recently about drafting a quarterback?
No.
So he's like, if you guys are he's talking to the media in a press conference. He's like, you guys are pressuring me to just draft a quarterback in round 1 just because it's a first round quarterback and that's going to bring hope to the franchise. Well, if I choose the wrong guy, you guys are all going to call for my job. Right. So I have to make the best decisions for the team both this year and 5 years down the road. So you got to let me do my job. And essentially what he said. I mean, I didn't say it exactly the way he did, but that's the kind of guy you want running your team. And he could be like, I could get Jameis Winston for $5 million. We drafted a guy in the second round last year. Yeah. I think we can work with
offensive weapons too. I mean, and you kind of build from there. But
I think Jameis could work with a weapon like Mike Thomas. T.Y. Hilton can help, or Mike Pittman. Shout out, Mike Pittman Sr. Mike Pittman Jr. is he came back from a surgery this year and he played really well. Yeah, I think that'd be a good fit for him.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Dude, can you believe it? We've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. I know Keith is ready for us to get off of here.
Sorry, Keith.
Yeah.
We're too hyped for this weekend.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is fun. I love talking football, and this is our platform to talk about it. And again, guys, shout out to Rondé Barber and John Lynch for potentially getting into the Hall of Fame. What I'm going to need from you guys, and I'm going to continue to preach this, you can send emails and letters to the Hall of Fame Association wanting to have somebody inducted on their behalf. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. I need to get all the logistics on it because we need to do our part to help some of these guys get in, because obviously Tampa doesn't really have a voice to really help some of our players that should have been in the Hall of Fame get in. So I'm going to leave it at that. But guys, thank you so much for coming out. KB, let me get your final thoughts before we roll out of here.
My final thoughts: give me the room with the Hall of Fame committee, and Rondé Barber and John Lynch and your boy Simeon Rice will be in that. I can't understand how someone can just read off a screen with no enthusiasm and expect a different result. And as Bucs fans, we should be upset by that. I think with
mediocrity.
With Twitter and social media, we can find a voice who can do justice to our players for the Hall of Fame committee. And as the older birds, start leaving their positions and we get newer voices in, I think that we're going to be able to get the Rondé Barbers, the John Lynches, the Simeon Rices, the respect that they deserve. Yeah.
There you go. Harry Berg, what's going on, my man? All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for us. My final thoughts is kind of similar to what KB is talking about. I want to see these guys in there. They deserve it. You've got a guy that played over 200 something straight games, including the playoffs, and there's not even a cornerback near him to even touch that record. And we're just talking about durability alone. We're not talking about sacks and interceptions. We're not talking about just the fact that he was part of the all-decade team.
Multiple positions,
not just one. And the fact that he's got more non-offense touchdowns than anybody else. And when you look at the people that are surrounding him, they're all kick returners, so they were touching the ball a whole lot more than he was. So I want you guys to think about that. When they talk about what Rondé Barber did or didn't do, you got to look at that. And again, that's pretty much it for us. We are going to jump out of here, and I will holler at you later.
They couldn't catch another ship, yeah.